One. Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Simply Fit. I'm your host, Sandy White, your number one health and wellness cheerleader. And today we have a plethora of information that we want to share with you guys. But before we get into that, and I introduce Miss Kathleen L., who's our special guest today, I do want to thank WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network for allowing Simply Fit to be on their platform for the third season. Guys, we're on a mission to encourage 1 million people to have a simply fit life by teaching them proper nutrition and education so that they're able to overcome suicide and depression. And Miss Kathleen is going to kind of double into what we're doing to show you guys it's some more simple tips and strategies and things that you need to be made aware of in reference to suicide. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about Miss Kathleen before I get talking too much. But I do want y'all to remember, go to the website for WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. Check out all of the wonderful things that we're doing. And then while you're there, if you'll make a donation, you can continue to see wonderful broadcasts like these and the other ones that we have on our platform. Now, let me let you guys know, Miss Kathleen is a 3-time #1 international best-selling author. She is a certified intuitive success coach, and she'll explain that more to you guys, as well as a healer. She teaches how to revolutionize living through emotional, spiritual, and energetic processing, clearing everything from deep trauma to habits of behavior, which brings swift, permanent change for her clients. Now, she had a full life, you guys, before she got certified and started doing all of this wonderful work. And she did it for 25 years. And she also served in her community. She worked, she had several small businesses, and she was an elected official until she had a traumatic refocus happen in her life. And that happened on March 2010. And that was due to the fact that her young son, he was only 19, he died by suicide. So you guys know we're on a mission to help you guys overcome suicide and depression. So without further ado, let's welcome Miss Kathleen L. to the stage and let her take it away so you guys know how to recognize the signs so you can save, we can save together as many lives as possible. And you know, we're on a mission for 1 million lives. So with that being said, welcome to the stage, Miss Kathleen. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you, Sandy. And thank you so much for having me, and WYTV as well. I'm so grateful to be here and to be able to help you meet your goal of reaching at least 1 million people, because it's such an important mission that you have going here.
It is. And thank you for allowing us to even share what your work is, because what I like to share with folks is the folks that I'll be able to reach will not be the same that you be able to reach, and vice versa. So, but if we work collectively together, we can stop this debilitating disease that Satan has. This is all due to Satan. This has nothing to do with Christ. And this is what people have to realize. It's two things in here. You have the will of God and you have the will of Satan. And we don't want to deal with that. But the thing is, I don't think people know those subtle changes and what changes a person spiritually. So and I don't know if you can talk on that, but I do want to know if you can explain to them what an intuitive success coach and healer is, and then how did that play into when your son did commit suicide, how you were able to transition. So you're the coach that you are today.
Sure, I'd be happy to. And how I like to express it is that you call it Satan and I call it fear. So lots of times we live in fear, and that fear continues to grab hold of us and bring us deeper into a depressive state or an anxiety. And I wasn't able to, I didn't have the knowledge that I have today, and I wasn't able to assist my son in the best way that I could. I did it the best I could with what I knew, but I didn't have the tools and the resources that I have today. And really what helped me was, after Logan took his life, he actually wrote a note saying he didn't want me at his service as well. So that really shattered me, and it put me further and further into my own depressive state, my own fears, my own guilt and shame. And I was lying on his grave, begging, pleading, wishing whoever, whatever took my son to take me to that I didn't want to live anymore. And suddenly my body became calm. I had stopped crying, and I heard this message from above, from out of nowhere. And it was as clear as anything has ever been in my life. And the message was, if this happened in your life, then you're meant to do something with it. Now do it. Now, with the political career that I'd had previous to that time, I had the context, I had the media outlets that I knew that my voice mattered. And so I started to step into that voice and offer my assistance with helping people to recognize the signs of suicide, to change the language around suicide, because we see suicide as a crime because it's called committed suicide. That's societally, it's been labeled as a crime. But in fact, more than 95% of those people who die by suicide is struggling and either been diagnosed or undiagnosed mental illness. And so I changed the language, and the language now is really those who die by suicide, those who've taken their lives, those who have completed suicide. It's not about committed. You were going to say something, Sandy, so I'll let you go ahead.
No. I was just going to ask you, anytime you need to keep going, that's good, because this is a dear subject for me, myself. One of the things that you mentioned was it's fear, which is false evidence appearing real in the person's head. And then the signs. So what are the signs that people need to look at? Because you have the voice and they feel that they don't have the voice, which is what you also mentioned. So if I'm fearful of whatever's going on in my mind and I don't think my voice can be heard, what are the things that we need, that we can tell the audience to look out for, so that the person that's having suicidal challenges, and I'm glad you also mentioned this other part, it is usually a chemical imbalance. It's something that's going on that hasn't been diagnosed. Touch on all three of those subjects.
I'll do my best to condense it as much as I can.
Tell me whatever you need me to repeat.
Yeah. So the where I see it is that it's connecting to our heart versus our head. And so those who are struggling with these thoughts that are going on, oftentimes there's an underlying cause. So we respond to life from the trauma that we've experienced. So from 0 to 8 years old, we are programmed to how we're going to react to life. If you lived in a traumatic experience, or if you've had a traumatic experience as a child, you have limiting beliefs in your head, you have trauma caught in your soul, and then you have the pain that's in your heart. And that continues to repeat itself because that is a program that we have created, a story we have created by what we've experienced as a child. So we continue to recreate and anchor in those beliefs, and we don't even know it as a society that we're doing that. And so my job is educating people, and I use my intuition. I call it an intuitive success coach, is that I have actually cleared away. So moving through the pain and the trauma that's been caught in my body, I have moved through these energetic processes that I've become a master in, to clear out those limiting beliefs, to remove the blocks that are there. So where I found my light that truly is shining from within, the light that is connected to God, to divine, to universe, to whatever we choose to call that higher power, is that we are that higher power. And oftentimes those who feel like they don't have a voice, it's because they have created these mechanisms of closing off their heart, of protecting themselves, of believing of the unworthiness or the unlovableness or the shame that shame of sexual abuse or child abuse that has been there for them. It's created a wall. And so while the wall is protecting them, or they think it is, it's really actually re-victimizing ourselves. It is also preventing the love to shine from within and out. And I'll give you the example, like my childhood was full of child sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. My birth father actually even shot at me, my mom, my sister and I at 3 or 4 years old. I don't know the exact timing. So I had a tremendous amount of abuse as a child. And so I programmed myself at that age to believe I was unworthy, unlovable. And so I continued to repeat that pattern until I had such a trauma in my life of my son taking his life and asking me not to be at his service that I had to start investing in my healing. The key here is investing in your healing, go within and start to reprogram the stories that you have, because the story you created between 0 and 8 was the limited knowledge. It was limited belief. It was limited knowledge. The limited knowledge is based on a very young child. You don't have all the information. So the RIM process that I have become a master facilitator in helps you go in and recreate a different story. It helps you release those limiting beliefs and blocks, and it helps you create the truth. It helps you to find that truth and to find that light. And so there are ways that you can just acknowledging your feelings is another example. So there's multiple ways. There's acknowledging that you have fear, that you're scared, that you have limiting beliefs or blocks there. Just acknowledging the fear that you have, becoming aware of where that's sitting in your body. That alone takes away the power it has over you. So the more you avoid, the more you mask, the more that you pretend it's not there, the more hold it has, the more strength it has over you. And that's what happens with the suicidal thoughts. That's what happens when we're living in fear or anxiety or depression.
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times folks think they're the only ones, and we're not saying, tell me all your personal business so that we can put you in a group with everybody else that's had the same trauma. No, so you can be free. And also they need to know they can come and talk to someone that's not going to take their personal business and like throw it back at them, but release them from it. I have two things, because and I don't know if you do this, but you were saying that you release the negative energy and the blockage. Do you guys use ETF tapping? Because I know that one is really good. And then I like to have folks do a journal, write down all the good things that they have had happen. So when they are feeling blocked or feeling ashamed or locked in or whatever, they could go back and say, you know what, on this day, I was grateful for whatever, they wrote that down, and then they can expand on it. I just was curious, is one of the things you guys use is ETF tapping? If not, I just wanted to know.
I don't use tapping, but I do refer people to tapping if that's a choice. So I have a huge toolbox of resources and ways to move through the challenges that we are avoiding, really, most of the times. And so EFT is definitely one that can be used. I actually use the energy. There's the energy there. So I can go deeper later with that if you'd like, but it's really utilizing your own energy and your own ability to be able to move through that challenge.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when you come back, is there like a quick demo that you can show people, or do you just want me to like keep moving along so we can just get them to know how to reach out to you and the services and things like that you have available?
I'd love to be able to just give them the grief prescription and also just walk through a quick process on how they can identify where they're holding their feelings.
Yay! All right, guys, so you heard her. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come right back with Miss Kathleen. All right, guys, see you in a few.
Swing Into Their Dreams Foundation presents the golf tournament of the year, raising scholarships for aspiring National Golf Club in Milton, Georgia. The inaugural HBCU Swing Into Their Dreams Charity Golf Tournament. Registration and gourmet continental breakfast begins at 8 a.m. and shotgun at 10 a.m. Award reception follows. Come enjoy a day of jazz, mimosa, cigars, cash bar, silent auction, and more. For more information, contact 770-686-7148. Their dreams. Don't miss it.
If you're just joining in, I'm Sandy White, your host of Simply Fit, your #1 health and wellness cheerleader. And today's segment, we're talking with Miss Kathleen L. about suicide prevention. If you know someone that's having challenges or yourself, you can call the National Suicide Hotline at 1-800-273-TALK. And we do want to thank our sponsor, Swing Into the Dream. And I hope you guys enjoyed that commercial break. So now we're back with Miss Kathleen, and she is going to take the floor with an example for you guys.
So there's a few things that I just want to add that can be extremely powerful tools that are very easy. One would be as easy as creating a gratitude list every single day. You know, Sandy mentioned having a journal and writing down things you're grateful for, but create it as a practice. And be consistent with it, because that's going to anchor that into you. So if you were to write, I suggest write 10 things that you're grateful for every morning before you even get out of bed. Now, if 10 things seems astronomical, start with 3. Just start with just writing something every single day before you get out of bed, because that shifts your energy initially, just completely shifts your energy before you even get out of bed. Because the first thing you do is your mind starts wandering and it starts creating the to-do list. So if you can jumpstart it into the gratitude, then you're automatically starting your day differently. The second thing is journaling. The third thing is to breathe. Breathe consciously. We just automatically breathe. We don't think about breathing. It is an automatic response to life. If you're consciously breathing, consciously walk into it. Do the 4 squared breathing. It's breathe into the count of 4, hold it to the count of 4, breathe out to the count of 4, and hold it to the count of 4. So as you breathe in, you follow it all the way into your body. And as you breathe out the energy that you want to release, because that will help you stay healthy and it will continue to circulate your energy. And so now just a quick example, like this is just a very quick snippet. So it's not going to give you the full depth of what you can go through on a process. But if you're feeling anxiety or depression, I encourage you to just close your eyes, breathe, and then locate in your body. You know, if there's a particular emotion that you're having right now, just sadness, you know, close your eyes and breathe, and then focus on your body, and your awareness is going to be drawn to where that sadness is. So your awareness is just going to be brought to a particular place in your body. So if you were to close your eyes, Sandy, and you were to breathe in, and you have an emotion in your body, you have an emotion that's on your mind, your attention is going to just automatically be drawn to someplace in your body. Where is that?
Mine was pretty much in like the center mass for my body.
So when you do
right now.
Yeah. So when you do that, you locate it in your body, and then you start to say, what's the shape? What's the color? You know, what's the texture of that energy? And as you do, like there's a bigger process, but to help move it quickly for yourself, you can also, as you've created that texture, that you can say, okay, what do I want to do with this? And you can say, I want to pull it out and throw it away. I want to breathe it out. I want to replace it with a light. As you start to recognize that energy, it starts to dissipate, because it no longer has a hold. It is emotions in flow. Energy is emotion in motion. That's it. And we are never in one. I like to call it like a wave in an ocean. You know, waves are up and down, and sometimes the ocean is as still as can be. That is just the way life flows. You know, it's healing through your pain instead of avoiding or masking it or pretending it doesn't exist.
I'm so glad you said that. And you know, you have freed so many individuals, because they do keep their feelings just suppressed. And I think that's what causes suicide. The feelings are suppressed. And when they finally decide, you know, I'm going to let it out, unfortunately, it erupts like a volcano. And sometimes, you know, the folks like you or myself who want to come and help and save, we find ourselves, you know, just 2 seconds too late. So that brings me to this question here, and you touched on it a little bit, but how can an individual find light after life when there's suicide involved? And then And then maybe some different signs, because you've already touched on this, but some signs that people can look for to help an individual that's going through suicide, or maybe themselves if they're not recognizing that.
Right, right. And so living in light after loss is what I do today. I have invested, and this is the key, I've invested in walking through my grief 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time, and walking through the pain instead of pretending it doesn't exist. We never get over it. We never move on. We walk through it. So what I do is I assist you in walking through that pain. That's how you release the pain, is you walk through it. You acknowledge it, you release it, you create a new story. Some of the signs of suicide is giving away your prized possessions, withdrawing from your family, creating a whole new friend group where the friends that you were a part of before are no longer a part of you're engaging in more alcohol, or you're engaging in drugs. You're finding yourself more isolated, or you find that your loved one is isolated. The key here for you is, if you're a loved one and concerned about a loved one, someone in your family, the concern is real. And so ask the person if they have considered suicide. By asking the question, you're preventing it, you're not causing it, because you're giving them a space to hold, to speak their truth. The second thing for you would be to hold space. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to tell them that they're crazy. That's not true. Don't try to just disregard it. Hold space. Tell them that you love them, that they mean the world to you, and tell them why they mean the world to you. Those are just 3 quick signs that you could use. And if you're experiencing fear, anxiety, depression, and worry, I would recommend what I call the grief prescription. And now this doesn't have to be just after the fact, after you've experienced a tremendous loss. It can also be for you to prevent that tremendous loss. And the grief prescription is easy as this. 1, be in the moment. There's 3 B's. Be in the moment. When you're in the moment, you're living what's occurring today. You can be in the gratitude for what you have right now. If you're feeling depressed, you're looking back and thinking, why can't it be different than it is? You're looking backwards. And if you're in anxiety, you're looking forward. You're projecting that you're going to feel like you're feeling right now the rest of your life. And you're creating that. You're creating that fear, you're creating that anxiety, you're creating that life. So when you're in the moment, you're helping yourself to stay grounded and in the moment. How you can do that is the second B, is breathe. I gave you the 4 squared exercise to breathe. Another exercise you could do is to consciously breathe. I want to say this is about consciously breathing and breathing deeply, because again, I said it's the energy in motion, and it helps clear out that trapped energy that's in your body, and it helps to keep you grounded. Another way, a breathing exercise could be the 4-7-8 exercise. Breathe into the count of 4, follow your breath into your body, breathe into the count of 4, hold it to the count of 7, and release it to the count of 8. And you just follow your breath all the way from deep within your belly, all the way up and out. And you're allowing that energy to flow out of you. And when you're breathing in, breathe in the love, breathe in the belief that and this brings me to 3. The third B is believe. Believe you're not alone. Believe you don't have to do this on your own. Believe you can make it through this, and believe that there are other people who have been where you are right now that have successfully moved through their experience and living a joyful, connected, beautiful life by allowing their own light to shine and by believing they have light. I'm your example of that.
That was so beautiful. Guys, we could talk more, and Miss Kathleen has so much more that she has, but we are only at a 30-minute segment, and we're down to our closing portion of the segment. So at this point, I want her to share with you guys how you can reach out to her and get more services from her. She's got a plethora of things that she can offer to you guys. and then briefly tell them the name of your new book again.
Yes, definitely. I was going to say Shattered Together, A Mother's Journey from Grief to Belief is here. And I just want to show you that when you're connected and you have your light, you have the ability to hear that you have the ability to hear from above. You have the ability to connect from your light, from the divine, from God, again, whatever you choose to call it, because this book cover was actually channeled. I actually received this as a message in the morning. I had a hard time finding the book cover. Before I went to bed, I just said, Mother, Father, God, Logan, please show me exactly what you want on this book cover. And they did. So here's the heart. There's a line down the middle of the heart, like the heart was cracked. It actually is my son's side profile of his face. So this is an example of what you can do. Now, Shattered Together, A Mother's Journey from Grief to Belief is part inspirational, part memoir, and part self-help. So at the end of each chapter, there are practices. I've given you some of those practices today, but at the end of each chapter, there are practices that you can incorporate into your life, whether you've experienced a loss or you feel like you are going to lose one thing or another, or even yourself. If you're in anxiety, with COVID and everything else that we've experienced, there's a lot of fear out there. So Shattered Together is absolutely a resource for you, for your library, for your friend, whomever. It is truly a resource. And if you'd like to work with me, I'm at KathleenL.com. It's just my full name.com. I work in groups and energy healing. I work individual one-on-one coaching, and I can assist you through some of your most painful experiences as I hold space for you.
Thank you so much. We have had a wonderful time talking to Kathleen. And again, if you are someone that it may be dealing with suicide or contemplating suicide, please dial the National Suicide Hotline, 1-800-273-TALK. This has been an incredible segment. I'm your host, Sandy White of Simply Fitt, and I am your #1 health and wellness cheerleader. And this is why we had Miss Kathleen come on, because suicide is such a horrible situation that we have going rampant in our society. So please reach out to her. She's excellent, and she will get you guys to your healthy place. And with that being said, I want to remind you guys that we do record every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. Again, thank you, Miss Kathleen, for coming on. And guys, reach out to her if you need her, please.
Thank you, Sam.
Bye.